What's up, everybody? When you start in real estate, you either have time or money. You either start having skills or having no skills, but either way you cut it, there's an option for you to get started. I've heard an incredible number of people sit around with uncertainty, not sure where to start, not sure where to take the first option. They're sitting there paralyzed. They're watching YouTube, learning, but never actually taking action on the strategy. It's funny because the ones who are really smart are really analytical and they spend way too much time analyzing, where the ones who maybe are a little bit less smart are going to take massive action at the beginning, and they oftentimes get results way faster than those who sit around not taking action. So today I'm going to break down free and paid ways to go about finding motivated sellers and locking up deals. But what's different about those videos, I'm going to give you actual numbers. I'm going to show you how much volume you can expect from each lead source. I'm going to show you how fast you'll get the contract, how much time each strategy takes, so that there's not really any more guessing. And we're going to break everything down from free lead generation sources if you have no money, or if you have a little bit of money, or if you're ready to double down and go ham. So if you're looking to spend $20,000 a month, we have an option. If you're looking to spend $0 a month, we have multiple options for you. So if you don't know me, I'm Philip from Rap Academy. Over the past 5 years, we've done over 200 transactions and over 60 creative finance deals, wraparound mortgages, seller financing, these options. Each one of these creates about $400 to $1,000 a month in passive recurring income. I started off with nothing, with zero real estate knowledge. I didn't know what a mortgage was. I didn't know what an HVAC was. I couldn't identify a furnace in a house. I literally came about it as a guy that was living in Southeast Asia for 5 years, who never owned a house and knew nothing about real estate. So if I can do it, you can do it. I'm not the smartest guy. This stuff is not rocket science. So when we first started, we chose one lead generation strategy, moved forwards, got our first wholesale deal, scaled to 6 wholesales per month. But we eventually got burnt out in wholesaling because it was a rat race. And now what we do is we help people get to their first $10,000 per month of passive residual income. If you want to learn more about our exit strategy, there's a school link below. Today, we're talking about lead gen. As I mentioned in today's video, you're getting every lead generation strategy organized by cost: free, cheap, mid-tier to more expensive, pros and cons of each, time required for each. And by the end, you'll know exactly which strategy matches your budget and your time. Let's begin with the free lead generation channels. If you have $0 per month, you're coming in, you're balling on the budget, you don't have a whole lot of capital to throw into lead gen, it happens. And if that's where you're starting, that's fine. If we don't have money, we must be resourceful. You're either spending time or money on real estate. If you have no time and no money, then you need to really start thinking about like how to get a little bit of residual income in so that you can start with something. So no money and time. Here's some options. Buy, sell, trade groups. This is one of my favorites. This is totally free. The lead volume is low to medium. We were getting one deal per month doing just this. The speed of contract is slow to medium. It really depends. It depends on who you find. And time required is, I would say, it's medium to high. We post daily and reply to people. I'll show you a quick breakdown. Inside our mentorship, we have full deep dive breakdowns in every one of these, but I just want to give you a cursory review. Okay. Pros: zero cost, easy conversations. Cons: it's manual, it can be inconsistent, and it requires you to really figure things out, which everything requires you to figure things out. If you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you must get that skill of figuring things out. Okay. As you can see here, I've been doing this since 2020. You can look at my old post. It's very basic. Hi, I'm looking to buy 2 houses in November that needs repairs and renovation, preferred for sale by owner, looking for a project. I 2 in October, preferred sale by owner, looking for a project. All of it's very similar. We make a spreadsheet, find all these different groups. I've found that, and you can see the comments below, do you have a price range? I have a house in Ellsworth on the market. They're tagging people. And then you just go and message all these people. Maybe I can find one of the ones that we actually bought, so you can see the conversation and how that looks. And one cool thing about this is I love personal branding. I like writing. My Facebook has a bunch of my writing. So when people look on buy, sell, trade, they go to my Facebook, there's my travels, there's stories of my travels, especially when I was doing this a lot more. And so they can go and check me out and they're like, oh, this is like a trustworthy person. It doesn't look sketchy. Another one, boom, in November, 7 comments. Here's one listed. Okay, they didn't listen to the whole sale by owner thing. What's your budget? And then you just talk to people. Want to buy in Holton? Okay, amazing. So then you just talk to people, you reach out, and these leads are totally free. Boom, October 2020. You can see one of the things with these is when you're looking for the groups, I find smaller neighborhood groups are better. Some groups have no comments, like this one only has 2. But when you go into small metros such as like Kansas City, not the Chiefs, you can see Independence over here, and then there's Raytown and Leawood. So if you go to Lake Quivira, swap shop or buy, sell, trade. You'll see what you find. This is neighborhood specific and very niche down. And you can find groups around that as well and post in those groups. For me, if I had no money, I'd be posting in these groups all the time. This is just a way to get easy leads, wholesale those, build up a little bit of money, and then reinvest that money back into other lead gen sources. Okay, amazing. So love buy, sell trades. Like this is a really great one. If you're just getting started, I would highly recommend doing it. Number two, calling FSBOs. So get into Zillow, go to your local market. So go to Kansas City, go into the search, owner posted, not coming soon. There are 20 properties posted by owners for sale by owners. They come up new every day. This is just in one part of Kansas City. It's just half of Kansas City. Then you can go to Independence, and you can go to Lee Summit. You can build a system to find these every single day. As soon as they come up, call them, right? Because especially at first, if you don't have money and you're new to real estate, you're building skills. The more people you talk to, the more offers you can make, the more deals you can structure. And this is how you're building up those skill sets. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is building skill sets that are going to compound over your life and make freedom for you and the future generations of your family. So we're compounding skills. And so call people, talk to them, learn to love sales, learn to love deal structuring. This property is reasonable. Give them a call, follow up with them. We put them in our CRM. We talk to them over and over again. FSBOs, call FSBOs all day. This is us building skill sets. This is another free way to do lead gen. Number three, scraping Facebook Marketplace. I'll show you how I'm using AI as well to do some of this stuff. Go to Marketplace, browse properties for rent is fine. You can call the people without properties for rent, right? And you don't want to talk to property management companies and start playing with keywords. I'll show you a cool way to do this like manual work with AI. So you can type as is, see what comes up, and you just play around with the keywords. But there's tons of properties on Marketplace. It's not showing houses right now. Talk to people, have conversations, structure things. So if you go over into ChatGPT, and if we go into agent mode, which you can fix my typing, but hey, go to Facebook Marketplace, pull anything from wholesalers for sale by owners and directly listed by owners. So now it's going to go into my desktop. It says understood. Okay, amazing. It's going to initialize computer search, ask me for access to my Facebook. Now we have an AI agent creating all this data. I can make a whole nother video on like using AI agents to do lead gen. There it is. Now it's cruising. I can get this to continue working on the side by making it a separate browser. It wants you to watch it because it's in a sensitive spot. Protect your privacy if you feel comfortable. We'll come to check on that later. Let's talk about some more lead generation strategies. Calling wholesalers. You can use AI agents. You can co-wholesale with people. This depends on your end goal. If you're looking to do wraps and lease options, a lot of our students buy from wholesalers. We teach you how to buy and get the financing in place and everything else. You can co-wholesale, work with them. You can build up a buyer's list. You can talk to them. Another free lead generation source. You can go to all the wholesale leads, like on your local married groups. Yeah, anyone who can't find a house that you're just not trying hard enough, like to be 100% just blunt and transparent. I just did one post this week and I've gotten 2 houses for my students. I think this was the post. I didn't even spell me, but I did this post and boom, people responded to me and I found multiple properties for my students. Okay. So we're going to this is one of the groups in Kansas City. It's another group in Kansas City. I talk to wholesalers. Another one of my favorite lists, so the reality of wholesaling is 50% of all wholesale contracts fall out of contract. So if you see a property being listed by a wholesaler, like there's a 50% chance that this property is going to fall out of contract. So if you grab a list of these properties, and obviously like we're not cutting anyone out, but we go back in 25 days and reach out to all the people who had properties listed before. And now these people, like they wanted to sell, their deal fell through, they're probably motivated, and yet it's a really strong list. Once again, be resourceful. There's an abundance of leads. If you're not getting deals, there's probably a gap in your ability to do sales and structure deals. We do that by making offers. So wholesalers are going to be an absolute gold mine. Let's check on okay. We still have our AI agent working in the background. And now let's go into the next one. So these are all free ways. Get skilled in sales, get skilled in deal structuring, and do these 4 things and you'll find a deal. Now let's go into, oh, we have one more, driving for dollars, drive around, find houses that look distressed. When I first started, I did all this stuff and I was driving around and I went through the inner city and I saw all these houses that had boards on the windows. And I was like, oh, this is a gold mine. But the reality is people were living there and no one wanted to sell. But like driving for dollars, we found properties this way. Just drive around the areas where you want to buy or the areas that one of your buyers wants to buy and just look for things of distress. Everyone knows how to drive for dollars. It's just a matter of, are you doing it? Are you doing the work? And this costs basically nothing. All you're paying is the price of gas. You can Uber, drive for dollars, get properties, skip trace them, call them, knock on their doors, knock on the neighbors' doors, do whatever you have to do to find a deal. Because once again, if you're in this $0, I have no money to spend phase, like remove all the back doors. Don't say I'm dabbling in real estate or yeah, I'm looking into real estate. I'm thinking about real estate. Kill those back doors. Give yourself no other option than success and move forwards. Right? If you have no other option than success, you're going to succeed. Once you succeed, eliminate all the back doors. Drive for dollars, knock on doors, tag the neighbors' houses, put sticky notes saying, hey, call me about your neighbor. They'll call you and you'll say, hey, what's going on with this house? You're gathering information, you're gathering intel. We found deals this way. Okay. And then direct to agent is another one. Everyone hates on direct to agent, but the reality is if you're not succeeding at direct to agent, it's most likely because you're just not doing good enough. And when everyone's zigging, you zag. Everyone's saying, on to creative, play the relationships with the agents, build good relationships, call people, build a system, and always the sales is in the follow-up. Have a good CRM, have a good spreadsheet, and make sure you're checking in with them over and over again. We've gotten deals from agents. All of these ways we've gotten deals from. We've done probably almost all of these lead gen sources I'm showing you today. I've personally done, our team has personally done, and all of them have gotten us deals. Direct to agent is really nice, especially when there's so many properties sitting on market and it's a buyer's market, just like right now. Okay. Now let's get into the cheap lead gen sources, anywhere from 100 to 1,500 per month. And that's in ad spend. Let's check on our AI agent, see how it's doing. Oh, task pause while you were away, resume. I'm still here. Continue working. Let's make sure this starts up again. Here are our cheap lead gen sources, $100 and $1,500 a month. Number one is hiring a cold caller. If you want to cold call yourself, you can. Cold calling yourself is still going to cost you maybe $600 per month. It's from data, it's from the dialer. Those are the two major things. Cold calling is an absolute grind. If you want to do it, like if you want to get the skills, you can do it. There's nothing against doing it. Do what you have to do, right? I've never personally cold called myself for real estate. We can hire a company. We have companies we work with. So if you want access to them, just comment below in this post. We can hire a company for probably $1,400 a month or $1,200 a month. And they'll usually get you maybe 3 leads per day. Is typically how they're going to work. So we have a company that does $1,400 a month plus, and that's including all the subscriptions, the data, everything. So it's all in, and that'll get you about 30 to 40 leads per month. The time required is low if a VA runs it, high if you call yourself. This is where we're starting. Now we're spending a little bit of money, right? Because eventually you can keep doing all the free things, but eventually you want to have leads coming in without you grinding for it. Because as we go through business, I talk about this all the time, we're constantly leveling ourselves up, right? Where we're replacing lower dollar per hour tasks and putting us in higher level per hour tasks. So like for you, as you're doing real estate, like the highest level per hour task is going to be in deal structuring and sales until a certain point. And then you want to bring a sales team in if you want to scale the wholesaling operation, and bring a sales team and then get the executive and the executive suite. But at first, like the more you can talk to motivated sellers, the better. Cold calling, super basic. That's the price point. Speed of contract is usually medium, anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks. These leads require a lot of follow-up. It can take months before you get one that actually goes through. Cold calling, easy. Texting, this is what we started with. We chose one lead gen source, texting, super easy. You text, they message back. I call them immediately. It's similar to cold calling without the grind. In my opinion, the cons of texting is regulation and compliance. This stuff is slightly annoying, the compliance that you have to deal with, making sure that there's always the regulations that came in over the past few years. You want to make sure it's set up properly. That's how we got our first deals. We only did texting and some free lead gen sources for the first 6 months. We didn't need to expand. At one point, we were texting 10,000 people per day. So we did just texting for the longest time. And that worked for us really well. You find the list, you find the data, you run it through, you eventually throw a cold caller in there also so we can just get more value from our data. And easy, this is another basic way to go about getting deals. It'll cost you about $1,000 per month. Next is pay per lead. So this is where there are companies that what they do is they find leads. They have the cold callers in house. They have the texters in house. They're doing the direct mail. They're doing pay per click. They're doing these different things. They get the leads in and then they sell you the leads. Z Buyer is one that we worked with. I was getting about $1,500 per contract with Z Buyers, which is really good. For pay per lead providers, like every single one of them is going to be a little bit different. Each one different for each market. Some will work in some markets and not work in other markets. It really depends. I have people that were using certain PPL providers in their market. In our market, they did horrible. In their market, they were crushing it. So this is one of those things you test. Z Buyers has about $10 to $50 per lead. The lead volume is high, but the quality of the leads is oftentimes lower. You should dispute them if the leads are listed or they're already sold, things like that. It's a lot of volume, which creates a lot of grind. But at the same time, like if you're balling on a budget, this is a way to get leads. Make sure you follow up, check in, talk to these people over and over again. All right, so mid-tier. Now we're getting to more mid-tier levels. These are good for scale. Other PPL providers such as Need to Sell My House Fast or Motivated Leads to have $40 to $300 per lead. The volume is medium and speed to contract can be fast. I think the first ever lead we got from Need to Sell My House Fast, we turned into a contract and there's a really nice contract. So time requires low to medium. These are more expensive leads that come to you that are higher quality. And so those is speed to lead when they come in, call them immediately. Next, direct mail, 3 cents to $3 per piece. We got really good results from doing a direct mail campaign. It's more operational heavy. You need to choose the cadence that you go about it, choose your mail pieces, and you need to have a certain amount of money to spend. With any of these lead sources, you need to commit to the lead source for 6 months, right? If you choose a lead source, be willing to commit for at least 90 days, ideally 6 months, because the reality is all of these work. It's more about the confidence you have, the budget, your systems, and your closing abilities. If you don't know how to close and start spending thousands on direct mail, you're spending a bunch of money without closing deals. Okay. Let's take a break and check on that. It's still working. Once we get through this, we'll check in. This is where we can start leveraging, people can't find leads. Like, leads are everywhere. Okay, cool. And now we're down to direct mail. Let's continue. We're using data providers like DataFlick. DataFlick is a more expensive one. They have really good data. PropStream is where we get data from as well, but we're doing DataFlick and direct mail, and it was really good. We're cruising through here. And I hope as you go through this, you have some light bulbs coming off, because if you're ever in scarcity around leads, like the reality is that leads are truly everywhere. And if there's any scarcity, it's in your sales skills. This is where you get to grow these skill sets, because like the leads are everywhere. You can just choose one of these and cruise forwards. And, it's going to be determined based off of your ability. So the next one is bandit signs. We did bandit signs when we first started. We were putting up signs all over, going around after dark, dressed in all black, putting them as high as we possibly could. We got basically no calls from them, barely any leads from them. The lead quality was pretty low. If you must do bandit signs, what a lot of the really successful people do is they'll put bandit signs in their own yard, just so people know when they drive by. Like whenever you buy a house, throw a bandit sign up in your yard, just so people will reach out to you if they have other houses to sell in the neighborhood. If you get a property under contract, send a direct mail campaign to everyone in the area saying, hey, we're buying this house in your area. If anyone else is looking to sell a house we're buying, do a direct mail campaign in that general vicinity. So there's so many ways to get the word out about what you're doing. So I hope this is helping to breed some abundance for you guys, because there are motivated people everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you're balling on a budget, like you still make it work. Cool. Now we're going to go to the final ones, the higher end. We have Facebook ads, radio, and PPC. This is what 7- and 8-figure investors use. I love PPC. PPC is going to be low volume leads, high quality, more expensive. Facebook ads can work. It's more of a funnel, 3,000 to 10,000 per month lead volume. I personally have found that PPC works better than Facebook ads. We've done Facebook ads and it didn't really have that great of an ROI. Radio, we've actually never done radio, but you can do radio as well. Announcing in the area that you're buying houses. These are more expensive, big branding, big positioning, billboards. As a solo operator, PPC is amazing. Once again, you want to have at least $5,000 a month to spend. I would say at least $3,000 a month to spend to do PPC. If you're spending $3,000 per month, you should get one deal per month at least. If you're spending $10,000 per month, you should be getting three deals per month. So it's about 3,300 bucks per deal. And these can be really fat, really good deals because people are reaching out to you. The speed to contract can be super quick, can be 24 hours, 7 days. Because these people, when they're Googling, they're looking up like, hey, I need to sell my house fast. And then they find you and they call you or they reach out to you and you need to call them quick. I'm a big PPC guy. I trust my skills. I know what a deal looks like. I feel confident in that. I want to just have less grind and more just deals. PPC is a really good way to go about doing that. Some of the highest intent leads. It's also one of the more expensive channels as well. Cool. To summarize, if you're broke, go to the free ones. Also, go to my school community, figure out what your vision is first. It's all dependent on what your vision for your life and your real estate investing portfolio is. If you're going and you want to scale a wholesaling operation, which I would probably caution against, then what you're going to do is going to be very different than if your goal is to get $10,000 a month in passive income, which is what most of our students' goals are, is to get that first $10,000 a month in passive income. If that's the case, you don't need crazy volumes of deals. If you're interested in any mentorship, reach out to me. We take on a few mentees every single month. Know your goal, know what your end is, know where you're going, know your direction. That's going to determine everything. And also at first, if you're on a budget, build the skill sets. FSBOs, wholesalers, marketplace, buy, sell, trade groups. If you have a little money, we start our wholesaling business with about $6,000. Me and my two partners put in $2,000 each. That gave us enough money for SMS and just to double down on that and also to pay for softwares and everything else. If you have some money, we eventually got to direct mail and PPL. That was more when we had a few wholesales every single month coming in. We started expanding outwards a little bit. And then now if you want to scale, if you have the skill sets, like go for PPC. Like PPC is just a really great way to get a few deals per month as a small operation without the grind. Yeah. So let's check in on our AI and let's see if it works. You have to work with it a little bit. And play around with the AI agents, play around with Manus, play around with ChatGPT agents. Like I just moved to Austin. I bought some bicycles here. I said to the agent, hey, find me the best deal on a bike. I want a hybrid bike. I want it to be like a super nice bike, but I want the best deal. So it went through all of Facebook Marketplace. It scanned all the bicycles. It found the retail price and found the prices that it is being offered for him and made a list of all the best deals. And I got like several, I think it was like $600 to $800 bikes for $200, right? So things like that, and that saved me $500. It's just ChatGPT working in the background. So enjoyed that. I hope that's valuable. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to our channel. Let me know in the comment below what you're working on, what your biggest bottleneck is right now in your business, and what's stopping you from getting passive residual income. Because right now there's so much opportunity out there and there's no reason, there's no excuses to not be making this work. Here's a few. It didn't get as many as I would have liked. These are a handful of properties that I went through and found. If you start playing around with this, you'll start finding more. You can also have put it into a spreadsheet and in different ways, present the information to you, reach out to them. 2-property deal, you can click, I'll show you the actual link. Now we're looking at deals, talking to people, making offers. So continue forwards, onwards, upwards. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys on the next video.